you for joining me for our Wild at Home session. For those of you who I have not met, my name is Tori, and I'm the Outreach Educator for the Friends of the WNC Nature Center, which means that I am the Traveling Animal Lady. So usually I drive around town bringing animal education programs to schools and libraries and retirement facilities and all sorts of other places who can't necessarily visit the Nature Center. But while we are closed, I am bringing animal education programs right to your homes. So today we are going to talk all about something that I feel that a lot of you may have found already in your homes or while you were out hiking, exploring nature: snake skin. So I have several different snake sheds here with me today. And what I thought we could do is talk about how to tell the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake just by looking at the shed. So a lot of the times we'll have people contact the Nature Center saying, we found a snake shed in our attic, or we found a snake shed in our basement, and we don't know what kind of snake it's from. Is there a way to tell? And it really does depend on the individual shed. Sometimes you can identify what sort of species the snake is by looking at the shed, but you can always identify whether or not that species is venomous by looking at the snake shed. So I'm going to teach you guys a really simple trick that you can use so that if you find a snake shed in your house or anywhere else and you want to make sure that there's not a copperhead or a rattlesnake living in your basement or your attic, you can check that out really easily. So if you all are ready, we are going to explore some snake shed. So when you're looking at your snake shed, you want to make sure that you're looking at the belly. So this right here is the back of our snake shed. We can tell because the scales are these diamond shape. And then when you flip your shed over, you'll see that the scales on the belly are going to be these long, thin rectangles. So that's the side that you want to be looking at when you're identifying whether this is from a venomous or a non-venomous snake. And then what you're going to do is you're going to come down to almost the very tip of the tail. So I've got another example right here. So towards the very bottom of the snake is the cloacal vent. So there is a little hole right here, and that is where the snake uses the bathroom. That is called their cloaca. It's the same as with birds. Birds have a cloaca as well. So you're going to look for that, just that little mark. And then what you're going to do is you're going to look at the scale pattern. So I'm going to flip this sheet over because this definitely is a nice display here. So if you'll notice, this is our cloaca, this is our vent right here. Above the vent, those scales are long, skinny rectangles, and that is true for all snake sheds. Now, if this is from a non-venomous snake, after that cloaca, so there's the tiny little mark of our cloaca, that pattern is going to change to an alternating pattern. So you can see, and we've drawn it out here next to it so that it's easier to see. You can see we've got an alternating pattern. So that alternating pattern is going to continue from that vent all the way down to the tip of the tail. This is a non-venomous snake. Now, if you find a snake shed and you see your vent, and then below that vent, that same straight across skinny little rectangle pattern continues, that is a venomous snake. So again, we've got our illustrations here. So if you've got your belly, your vent, and then the same pattern continues, that is a venomous snake. And if you have your belly, your vent, and then the pattern switches to an alternating pattern, that is a non-venomous snake. And that is just a real quick way to tell if you find a snake shed whether or not it's from a venomous snake. All right, thank you so much for joining me for our Wild at Home session. I hope you all learned a little something about snakes today. If you find snake shed while you're out hiking or in your own attic or basement or anywhere else, please feel free to take a picture of that snake shed and upload it. We would love to see what you discovered. Thank you all so much for joining me, and I will see you next week for our next Wild at Home session. Bye.